Okay, we're going to talk about go-go bats. Okay, oh, wrong way. There you go. I hope you can see that, but that's what we'll be talking about today. Okay, in this video. See this little baby buttercup? Her name's Buttercup. Her's a little sweetheart. You see her eyes missing? And her little whiskers. The area where her little whiskers are at are swollen. That's from the go-go bats. Okay. These go-go bats, they get into your lymphatic system and your throat, and they cover your voice box, and they cover every muscle in your body, every ligament. As I said in my last video, I believe that they attach to the dysfunctional collagen in our bodies. And this has to do with transhumanism too. We'll get into that in another video. But they're little computers. Now, the go-go bats for these little ones, like the cats and the dogs, and I'm sure that you guys check your animals because everybody's got them. Every animal that I've looked at has them. Check right behind their ears. This is where their main, she's getting in my plants, but that's okay. This is where your main lymphatic drainage is. Your lymphatic system for the animals is right behind their ears. So check your animals, you'll feel it. It gets in their face. They clog up the lymphatic system in the eyes. And it's painful. I want you to know this. It's so painful. I know this because I am experiencing it myself. Now I will get into this more in detail later. Right now, I just think that people need to start on this right here. This is what I'm giving. This is the treatment I'm giving to the animals. All right, borax. Now, the FDA, which I don't believe a damn word they say, nothing, said that an eighth of a teaspoon is all you can take. That's nonsense because you need more than that. When you first start it, okay, this will stop the replication of the go-go bats, and it will also kill the fungus that it's attached to. Now, they're dangerous with this. When you have tiny vessels like these little kitties have, like you have in your gums and your eyes, when you kill the biological part, which is the RNA, the fungus that they're attached to, when you kill that, you're left with these tiny pieces of metal in your body. Her eye, when I first got her, she was a rescue, and I have another cat here who's sick also. She was a rescue. Just a dinky little baby, and her eyes were swollen. I mean, just like size of golf balls. So I knew her mama that was pregnant, and I tried to help her best I could, but she was a feral cat. So when I saw this little kitty, I picked up the kitty, and I saw that she was really sick. She was just a dink. She hadn't probably eaten anything. I don't think she had eaten. She didn't know how to eat. So when I got her, I picked her up, and the mama cat came out from underneath the house because that's where they were living. And I told her, I said, I'm going to take this baby. Is that okay? And she looked at the baby, and she looked at me, and she turned around and walked away. I had been feeding her, so she knew I was safe. There's nothing that she could have done for that baby underneath that house. She was really sick. Now, we have been, where I'm at in Missouri, we have been being sprayed on a regular basis, and I know that they're up in the clouds. They're in our air, they're in our food, they're in everything. So I took her, and I started giving her treatment. I started feeding her and giving her treatment. That's about the same time that I started my treatment on the borax. I have to give mad respect and just... I want to try to do this without crying, because these people that are doing this to us are killing all the animals. They're killing all the animals, all of them. Now, these two that I'm taking care of right now are getting treatment. Now, I have 2 cats here. I have a black cat, and then I have little Buttercup. The black cat's name is Pistachio. He was a rescue, and he was abused by my neighbor horribly. I don't know what they did to him, but they did something to him. He wouldn't let me near him until just recently. I've had him over a year. He would freak out. His eyes would just get completely dilated, and he just would freak out. A few times he just would limp out, limp, because he didn't know what to do. So now he's letting me treat him because these things are painful. They get in underneath their eyes, okay? They have, and now I took her real quick. She had a fever. I went to a place to work on a farm right before I moved in here so I could save money to get a car because I don't have a car. I don't have any friends. I don't have, look, I'm telling you, this has been just an awful situation. So I went out to the farm, out to these people's farm, and to work so I could save money so I could get a car. Well, they robbed me is what they did, and they abused my black cat. People who abuse animals like that, I'm telling you, they're demons, okay? Demons do that. They abuse things. They abuse animals, and I've never wished harm on anybody who's done anything to me over this 5 years. Not even them, but I have prayed for their protection to be lifted. When you hurt an animal like that, and somebody is telling you why you would even, why you're acting strange is because you're demon infected, and they choose not to do anything about that because, I'm just going to say this, they think that, I'm not even going to say that. We'll get into that in another video. Okay, so, he's sick too. He's not as sick as her. But he's always been, there was other cats there too that I was feeding, and they were bleeding from the eyes. One of them was blind. Now this neighbor of mine, she was using them as studs, the really good looking cats, as studs for her Persian kitty because she could sell them. And as soon as she was done with the studs, she'd throw them out and barely feed them. They were starving. One of them was completely blind. And she just didn't care. Just did not care. I'm telling you what, there's a special place for people like that. There is, and I'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, so I've got these 2 cats, and you'll see where the nanobots are in these animals because they've lost their hair, like around the eyes and up from the corner of the eye to the ear. They will have no hair because the nanobots are in there, and they have, I believe what they've done is they've clogged those vessels, clogged the hair follicles. So that's a good telltale sign. Another thing to check with your animals, and I think all animals should be on this treatment if possible, because they're all going to be sick. We're going to lose most of our animals. If you cannot spay or neuter, that's a fantastic thing, but it's a lot of work. I may have to neuter my male cat, because she's a female. The Buttercup is a female, and Pistachio is a male cat. I do believe that they're brother and sister from another mother. But I'm going to try. It's a lot of work to keep 2 animals separated when I have been moving so much. I didn't expect to get 2 rescue cats, okay? I didn't expect to get any animals right now until I was settled, but I did what I had to do to help the animals. Now, that's what we all have to do. We just have to get over ourselves and realize that we are not the most important species on this planet. Every species, every animal, every bug, every insect are special. They're part of the ecosystem, and they were developed for a reason. And we have, with chemicals and sprays and all this nonsense, we have completely destroyed our ecosystem, which is our mother, our earth mother's balance, her health. Anyways, so I started them on treatment, and it took me a long, long time I don't have a scale to weigh them, so I had to figure out how much they weighed in kilograms so that I could do. Anyways, it's been a lot of work, but I think that I found a pretty good solution for them. Now, these are little computers and little tiny pieces of metal that when you use the borax, and I'm going to teach you how to make a solution so that you can start your animals on it if you choose, and yourself. because when you start treatment with the borax and the minerals on another video that I had done, you've got to do the minerals. They've taken all the minerals out of our food to make us sick. When you start treatment and they start to die, these go-go bats, they will leave small pieces of metal in your body. Right now, in my gums, they have, I get so clogged with these go-go bats that the only thing that gives me relief are some crystals. I take the borax and water, and some call it BOSS, B-O-S-S. You can look that up on the internet. I double strength for the animals, and I double strength for myself. And I take it 3 to 4 times a day for myself, and I give it to the animals 2 to 3 times. Because when you kill the fungal part, the biological part of these go-go bats, there's no way for these small pieces of metal to get out of the body. It's horrible. Now, she's lost her eye, and they are in all of her tiny little vessels. Now, when I went to that farm to work, there was a reason why I mentioned that, to work, so I could save money to get a car, which I never did. It just cost me way more money to even go there, because now I have a little issue with fleas with my animals, and I'm treating for those, and that's expensive stuff. So, anyways, when I was there, I was trying to do everything natural for these animals, because I do know that chemicals separate the spirit from the body, and they're both sick. However, she got a fever, and I was unable to, because they were working me like a slave. They really wanted me to be their slave, and that is the truth, okay? Absolutely truth. They even tried to get me to fall a few times. They know that I have a disability check. Oh no, these folks were predators, demon infected. So I was unable to do my treatment that I had been doing, my herbal treatments and my mineral treatments, and I was unable to do hers the way I needed to, the cats, because I was constantly working. It was just amazing to me. These people were something else. Anyways, so she ended up getting sick, and she had a really high fever, and her eye got infected. I got the infection down when her eyes were, huge, like golf balls. When she's just a tiny little baby fit into the middle of my hand, I got that infection down. It was an infection, and I used fermented honey garlic. And I know they say garlic isn't healthy for animals, but it's not bad. You watch anything you give your animals or yourself, you're going to want to feel how it feels, see how it looks, but it got rid of the infection until we went there. And I was unable to give them treatment like I needed to. So she got an infection in her eye. The infection came back, and she was running a fever. So I took her to the vet. And I got some antibiotics. Against my better judgment, I didn't want to do it, but I had no other choice at this point. It had gone on too long. They gave me antibiotics for her. The minute I gave her antibiotics, the spirit was separated from the body, because she had been really sick, so it was just barely above the body anyway. Separated the spirit from the body, and that's when she started to act possessed. And I already knew it, okay? I didn't want to do it, but I had to. So now I have some things that I do with the animals and myself to keep the demons out of our body and get them out of our bodies. And that I'll share with you in another video. Right now we'll just stick with the borax, the go-go bats. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a solution that you can start your animals on. Her little bum is hard as a rock. Hard. Now, they attack these go-go bats. They attack the bones and the spine, all the vessels. Oh, they're horrible. These things are horrible. Her little bum is hard as a rock. It goes like a point, and it's hard as a rock. So I started her on the borax solution, and I'll tell you how to make that for your animals. And I got the dosing right without a scale or anything like that. So it started to kill the go-go bats. And what was happening is they were dying too quickly and they were getting stuck. And that's why you can see in her other eye that's not being, taken, she has drainage from the eye, and usually it's blood. Now, with these animals, at the same time that you do treatment, you're going to have to push nanobots through their bodies, just like I have to do with mine. Oh, I did say it, didn't I? Go-go bats. Just like I have to do with my body. The pain of the pressure and those little tiny pieces of metal are so painful, you've got to get them moved through. What I will say, when you do this, when you start treatment with your animals, and you're going to have to do this if you want to save your animals, there's just no way around it. You're going to have to push those go-go bats through. It takes hours. I push go-go bats through my body and my animals' bodies hours a day. What they're going through, the pain that they're in, and I know the pain that they're in because I'm having that same pain, is so horrific. It's so horrific. These poor little babies. Anyways, I put together a solution that anybody can do. Now, if you look on the internet, there is something called BOSS, capital B, capital O, capital S, BOSS. It's a borax solution. Now, what I did with the borax solution, and you can see how it's made, they take 1 liter of distilled water and they put in 1/8 teaspoon of borax and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, good salt like Himalayan rock salt or Celtic sea salt or any one of those salts. And you mix it up, and then they drink that. That's the BOSS, and that's what they do for like cancer patients and things like that. The ones who try to do things naturally. What I did was I made them a liter of the BOSS, but I made it double strength. So instead of having 1/8 teaspoon of borax and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, I did 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of borax. Then I started giving treatment to them. I was giving them too much at first. I was giving them 1/2 ml. No, I was giving them 1 ml each. In each dose, it was too much. It was killing it was killing the go-go bats too quickly, and they couldn't get the metals to leave their bodies. And our vessels in our faces, just like them, in their faces, are so tender and so small that these things get stuck, and they're way painful. So the solution for this, and all this will be going to my book, and there's way more to this than what I'm saying to you right now, but this will help you keep your animals alive through the assaults that we're dealing with. What I do is I take a liter of distilled water, and I do it in a mason jar, a quart jar. That's a liter, from my understanding. So you take a 1/2 teaspoon of, no, I'm sorry, 1/4 teaspoon of borax to, so 1/8 and 1/8 is 1/4, so 1/4 teaspoon of borax. I've got it written down here. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and you mix that together. That is your borax solution. And what I'm doing now is with that solution, I add a few more things to it, but you don't need to worry about that right at the moment. You just, if your animals are sick, hit me up and I'll tell you what I'm doing. It's just I don't have the energy right now, and I don't have, I'm just exhausted. That's it. I will be putting all of this into a book. Everybody's going to have to do this. We're all infected with these suckers, and they multiply just like a fungus. They're in our food. They're in our skies. And I just found out the other day that they are using these go-go bats to control the weather. You can see it if you go to Never Lose Truth. She's got some videos showing you what's happening with them. And she does some radar stuff. I'm not sure what she does, but she does a good job of explaining it. And you can actually see them, but they're using them to modify the weather. They're in our food. We're breathing them in. They're in our lotions, and they're in everything. It's just blows my mind, these demons, what they've done to us. Okay, so the solution is this. If you take 1/4 teaspoon of borax, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and mix it up, then that is your solution for your animals. And my little girl is, she was pretty small when I started with her. And my boy's a little bit bigger, but I give them both a 1/2 ml. If you can go get those 3 ml syringes from your vet, or you can get them from your, I don't know, I got mine from my vet. I'm just really not sure where else to get those at, but you can look around, probably your feed store would have them. And I give each one of them a 1/2 ml. Now 3 mLs is 1 teaspoon. So I give a 1/2 ml to them 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day. It seems to be working. Now, because they are a little computer, and they are ran and controlled by AI, that means they are frequency ran. They are controlled through frequencies. Everybody is frequency sick right now. Now, I have been working with some stones, also some crystals. I've been working with shungite and elite shungite, black tourmaline, and bloodstone, and also titanium treated quartz. Now, I started to just leave, and I'm going to show you. Hold on one second. Let me get these real quick. I don't know if I can stop this. No, maybe. Okay, I'm going to take just a break for a second, get these stones. Okay. Now, because we're energy sick, and the animals are energy sick, we have energy centers in our body. And these energy centers are supposed to vibrate at a certain vibration to give us well. And these energy centers interact with everything else, like the trees and people. When those energy centers are compromised, like as in Wi-Fi, especially the 5, you know what I'm talking about, it makes the body unable to heal, and it makes people very sick. Now, this right here is shungite. This is regular shungite. This is carbon. That's what it is. You can order it on Amazon. That's what I did. And you can get just the chunks like this, tumbled chunks, for pretty cheap. I think I got these for, I don't know, $10, $11. And I got maybe a 1/4 pound, I think. So I took this. I can take this when I get congested with them in my head and in my throat. Oh, no, they started to take over. They did take over my complete body. They did. And I've been killing them. This stone right here, I put it next to my black cat, Pistachio, and he went over to it and he would put his paws on it because he knew it was healing his body. Now, the problem with this is that it will kill the biological part of these go-go bats, and then they're left in these tiny little vessels in their faces, these little pieces of metal. So you've got to be very careful with this. This is, they have got us so bad with every one of their weapons that it is going to take you dedication. It's going to take you compassion. It's going to take you time to not only heal yourself, but to heal your animals. Now, Now this is all, I've learned everything that I'm telling you right now from trial and error, okay? So the animals, now they know, my animals know that they don't want to stay next to this particular stone too long. So put it next to them while they're sleeping, not right next to them. This stone is too powerful, the shungite. Now, I had an elite shungite, which is let me go get that too. Hold on one more second. Okay. This right here, the shiny one, the shiny black stone, is elite shungite. Now, in my work, in my book and all of this, I will put the names of the people who won the Nobel Peace Prize doing research on the elite shungite for water purification. It will purify water, but I'm going to tell you something. The people in charge of our genocide know exactly what this is going to do. And I thought, well, what is up with this? They did the study. If you know anything about what we're going through right now, everything has to be told to us through games and bullcrap, okay? So I thought, well, why would they teach us how to clean water when they're poisoning our water? And anyways, why would they get a Peace Prize for it? Well, because something about that study was to hurt us, and I already knew that. I just didn't know what it was. So everything that I'm telling you, I've done by trial and error. I have used the elite shungite, 100 grams of elite shungite per 1 liter of yucky water. It will clean that water. If you leave it in for 6 hours, 1 liter per 100 grams of elite shungite. This is pretty expensive stuff, but it will clean anything. Now, I don't use the elite shungite on my animals or myself unless I'm in so much pain, and I only do it for a short period of time, like maybe a half an hour. It takes about 15 minutes for these stones to heat up. And when I talk about these stones, these are alive. Okay, these crystals are more advanced than we are. Okay, they are beautiful. They are alive. I talk to them, as you should. Thank them for their service. They are more evolved than we are. They are both male and female. They are way more evolved than we are. So this is not just a rock. Okay, this is a beautiful stone created by our mother, our earth, and we must respect it. That's what I'm going to tell you. And when the stone, when you're finished with the stone, you give thanks to that stone for its service, and take care of it like you would any other being, as you should. Anyways, so when I started using these stones, I started on myself. All these things I did on myself first. And the problem that I found, this was healing me. This shungite and this elite shungite, I would put it in my head. I would get a bandana around my head, and I would put it here on my neck because that's where I'm really sick too, all the way down through my body. And it was killing the go-go bats. Okay. The problem is that it was killing the biological parts, so they weren't able to move through. When you push the go-go bats through, you will feel it and hear it. It will go boop, like you're pushing water through a hose that hasn't had any water in it for a while. That way, when that happens, you know that those things have had you put pressure on those vessels as much as they can tolerate, and sometimes it hurts. This little baby kitty would come to me, and she was in so much pain. Her poor little tiny vessels were filled with these. I just don't want to cry about this. These monsters have got to be stopped. And I would push these go-go bats through her body, through her whole body, and then I would go down to her bum, and I would push and push and push and push, and it hurt so bad, but she would come sit next to me, come lay next to me so I could push these through. Now that she's older, and I have another cat who's, like I said, is an abuse survivor, a trauma cat, doesn't like to be touched, so now she's kind of playing games and stuff, but she does, when it gets to be so painful for her, she'll mess with me, And I know she's in pain. So I need to stop doing what I'm doing and I need to help her. That's what we need to do. We need to get off of the computers. We need to get off of social media and all of this and start taking care of the animals. You know, I know that there's some religious texts that talk about we have dominion over the animals. Oh no. You know something, I'm going to tell you, what an arrogant thing to say. We are guests here on this planet. She is our mother. Our job, dominion means to dominate. Okay, well, we've been living like that for 7 generations now, dominating everything. And look what it's got us. We need to work in harmony. Okay, we need to learn to work in harmony with the animals and our brothers and sisters of other species. We don't have dominion over anything. Let me just say that. And we'll learn. We're going to learn now that we don't. So that's a whole nother little subject. Okay, so if you're sick with, I call it go-go bat poisoning, that's what I have been sick with. I've lost most of my hair because these things, they close off the hair follicles, and I believe that in addition to the food, the high levels of estrogen coming from the food, it's causing hair loss in our males and females I'm seeing. Now, as I hold this right now, the go-go bats in my legs are pulsating, okay? They're everywhere. They're all throughout your body. When you, okay, so I'll talk about pushing those through here in a minute, but let me finish with the stones. When you use these black stones, this one is so powerful, it will eliminate, I don't know if it dissolves it, I'm sure that's what it does, any metal on the periodic table. This is powerful stuff. We have metal in our bodies. We have copper. We have iron. Use with caution. Now, anyways, that'll be for another video. Okay, so after you use these black stones, this wipes out your energy. That's what it does. It cleans your energy. When I first held this stone in my hand, I could feel it pulsating through my body, and each place the go-go bats were, where they were infected, where I was clogged with them, it hurt like hell. I mean, I would hold them in my hands. It hurt like hell for a while, like in my head, like a major headache, but you hold on to it long enough and you stay there long enough and the pain will go away because we're energy sick. Now, what I found, that black tourmaline, this is a very inexpensive stone. This is a tumbled black tourmaline. I'm sure they were just pieces that were tumbled. This is a great hand stone. So what I would do is hold the shungite in one hand and the tourmaline in another. The tourmaline works very, very good on your heart center. And the first time you use it, if you could lay down, stop all your doing things, okay? Stop your anything. Get away from all the Wi-Fi and everything and lay down and take a nap. If you can stay awake for about 15 minutes, maybe about a half an hour, it'll take about 15 minutes for these things to start working. You will feel this blast your heart center. It's blasting all the hurt and the negative energy that's stuck in there. So I would go to sleep with the black tourmaline and the shungite. The elite shungite's a little too strong for this, at least at first. And I would hold these and I would go to sleep. And then I would put different stones throughout my head and on my feet and in my socks while I slept. And it, along with the borax, was killing these bats. Now, I was so sick I was almost dead. So I had to do it. Now I know I have lots of pieces of metal coming through my gums right now. My teeth are inflamed. My gums are inflamed because they're such tiny little vessels. This will make you feel better, and it'll make the animals feel better, but you've got to be careful. Those tiny little vessels, like in your eyes and in your mouth, the bats will get killed, but the metal stays. And the vessels are so tender in your mouth, as it should be, that they will go right through. I have cuts all through my mouth where I just can't handle the pain anymore, and I will push and push and push. And then they get in my eyes and in my face. It's something else what they've done. It's horrible. Okay, so these two stones work very well together, the black tourmaline and the shungite. You can get those pretty inexpensive. You can get the black tourmaline tumbled. Now, I couldn't afford pretty stones. I just couldn't. But it doesn't matter. These stones are part of our Earth Mother, and they are powerful. So if you can't afford pretty little stones like like the black tourmaline that comes and it's shiny and it's beautiful, well, this works just as well. So anyways, let's go. What I have found, that's what I'm going to tell you something else with the animals. This right here is a dark green stone, and it is bloodstone. So I bought this at one of the crystal shops in Springfield, and this stone is calm enough, it's not so powerful that it's going to cause you to have the issues like I have right now. It will if you use it too much, but this is a blood cleaner, and what we're dealing with is a blood problem. It's in our blood, it's in our vessels, it's in our lymphatic system. This I have found to be a much more calming stone, much more human-friendly and animal-friendly. This I use with the animals. I will lay it under something next to them. And just remember that when you put that next to them, you remember to take it back, because if they sit next to it, they're going to want to sit next to it. They're going to want to lay on them, all these stones, because it makes them feel good. It starts to mend the energy problems that are happening in the body because of the Wi-Fi. Now, the bloodstone, it's a dark green stone that has white layers in it, and it also has little red, and this is why they call it a bloodstone, little red inclusions in there. This, if you can't afford to get anything else, get the bloodstone and use it. Okay, try things out on yourself first before you try it on your animals if you can. I know what my animals are going through because I've gone through it, and I'm going through it now. We just have to learn to have compassion for the animals now, and ourselves. So this is a bloodstone. This works great. When you work with these dark stones, it will wipe out your energy centers. You will need to recharge those energy centers. From my experience, this right here, these little stones are titanium quartz. They are titanium treated quartz crystals, points. I wrap this up. Okay, it comes like this. They come in, I don't know, I think it's beautiful. I would just love to wear it. It's kind of heavy, but I wrap this up in a t-shirt and make sure that they're flat, because they're, it'd be a little painful if you're laying on a bunch of points. And I put it next to my stomach when I sleep at night. This, after working with the stones, and you can use other light crystals. I'm just telling you that this is what works for me, and it will work for you too. I wrap it up lengthwise, and I wrap it up widthwise, and then I put it lengthwise, the t-shirt from the top of my neck down to my pubic bone, and that right there will balance out your energy. It will recharge your battery, so to speak, in your body. Now, I also, with this, when it's wrapped in a t-shirt, this one, I will lay it on my bed, and then the animals can go over there. They've learned their lesson. These stones are powerful, and it will hurt them if they stay on them too long. They'll go lay on it. So, along with the borax and the mineral supplementation, and you can go back to one of my other videos and I talk about mineral supplementation. And I also talk about Mangista. Mangista is important in this also, and I do give that to my animals. Everything I do for myself, I give to my animals. This was life or death for all of us. And the animals who are not getting treatment are in a lot of pain. They're in a lot of pain. You can feel it backed up into their lymphatic system, in their face, and in their, it's just horrible what they're going through. So when I see an animal outside, I will rub the back of their heads, and I know where that stuff is at, and I'll put pressure on it until I hear a glunk. A lot of times they've been in there so long they're hard as a rock. That's what's going on with my animals now. It's getting a little better. They would be dead, probably. And this is the thing, it doesn't kill them until they suffer. They suffer. These people responsible for this, I don't wish harm on anybody, but I wish justice. Yes. Swift, tough justice. Anyways, okay, so I told you about the BOSS solution. Now there's much more to this. I will tell you about spirulina. Okay, spirulina is a sea vegetable that is like a kelp or dulse, and it removes heavy metals. So after you start the BOSS treatment, the solution, I have slowly but surely added things to that, and then I'll back up. I've been working with this for quite a while now. I'm an RN, I'm also an energy healer, and I am a Native American shaman. So I have been doing this kind of work my whole life. I didn't know why, but now I do. So anyways, I've been working with this for a while. By the time you start your animals on the borax solution, the BOSS, B-O-S-S capitalized, and you can look this up. They've been using it for alternative cancer treatments, like I told you, and cancer is a fungus. It works. Now, you're going to want to start very, very slow. Very, very slow. It will make you extremely sick. And you can find it. This is it. You can find it in your laundry. Oops. You can find it in your borax. I think it's 7 mule or 20 mule team. Now, it's in your laundry detergent aisle at Walmart. I know that. Boron is a mineral that our teeth are made out of. We're supposed to have that mineral in our bodies, but our plants need it. Anything organic needs boron. Anyways, let me go back to, real quick, I was talking about the Nobel Peace Prize done in 1996. Well, I know that the scientists who have coined these diseases and things like that, all worked for the military, for the U.S. government, or the Queen of England. They lied. So I wondered why they would tell us, because I just thought, well, if the elite shungite will clean water, we're 80% water, then it should clean our bodies too. And it does. But there's a trick to this. Okay, if you start using these crystals all the time, these little pieces of metal are going to clog your vessels and be stuck there, causing stroke and heart attack and all of these things. It has the potential to do that. It doesn't. It's not done it to me. And like I said, we were dying. Okay, so we had to try everything, and I'm really glad that we did. So, let me see what else. Now for adults. Okay, I will be able to, once I get settled somewhere, put everything down, kilograms per milligrams and all of these things. I just can't do it right now. I just have been completely discombobulated, and that's what demons like to do. They like to keep you off balance so you can't get your work done. Okay, so for an adult, I don't use the BOSS. I take Soleil, which that's in my mineral video, and I take more than 1/8 of a teaspoon per dose. Like I said, the FDA said 1/8 of a teaspoon was max, and if you were over a certain amount of weight, 1/4 of a teaspoon max. Well, I don't believe a damn word they say. First of all, I've had to experiment with everything myself. I take, at present, 1/4 teaspoon of borax, and I put apple cider vinegar in it because it helps to dissolve the crystals, and then I add a little bit of water to it. There's a whole bunch of research done. If you go to, it's on the internet, you can find it. It raises your pH of your body, the borax, and it kills fungus and cancer. And we need it for our teeth enamel and other things in our bodies. We need it. We all need it. We're organic beings. We have to have our organic substances, minerals and things. So if you use the shungite, now this piece right here, I would suggest that you hardwire your computer. I got rid of my cell phone 2 days ago. I kept saying, well, as soon as I get moved and get settled, I'm going to get rid of my phone. Well, guess what? I may not get moved and settled. I'm looking for a place right now. But my animals are sick, and I've been sick, so I know the Wi-Fi has a lot to do with it. Take the shungite, elite or regular. This is like 90 to 100%, the elite shungite, 90 to 100% carbon. This is, I think, 50 to 60. I'm not sure. I've got everything written down, but Lord knows where that's at right now. I still have boxes, everything in boxes, and I'll have to be moving again because of my demon-infected neighbor. Okay. Anyways, take these stones and put them by your computer. If you choose not to hardwire, get an Ethernet cable. If you choose not to do that and hook it to your modem, then at least put these stones when you're not using them by your computer. I still do that because I'm in an apartment and my neighbor has Wi-Fi and they slip in the 5 in there. I put them by my bed while I sleep. Now, these stones, I'm going to say a few more things. These black stones will discharge all your other crystals because they're so powerful. So keep them away from each other. You have your light stones like your amethyst and your rose quartz and your spirit quartz and selenite. These stones right here will discharge them. So you want to charge your crystals. Let me tell you about this too. When you charge your crystals, there's a lot of ways to do this, but I found it best to do it in the sun. When you charge your crystals, charge them separate. Your black stones away from your light stones because they don't work in harmony together. And the black stones will discharge them. Now this right here, I found the titanium quartz to be very effective in bringing back up my energy the way it needs to be. So this is it. If you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll be happy to answer them. We're in deep doo-doo. All of our animals are getting killed. All of our sea life is getting killed. We're getting killed. Okay, we need to stand up. We need to stand up against these monsters. Okay, well, thank you. And I think I covered everything I needed to cover with that. Now this right here, this strand of titanium quartz, this is indigo titanium quartz. Indigo is one of the higher vibrational colors, and these stones are just fantastic. Just fantastic. If you want to lighten up a little bit, you can. This thing, I think I paid $20 for all these stones. And that's fantastic. And I will eventually get them taken apart and make necklaces out of them and give them away. But right now, I can't get settled. So, okay. I love you guys. Trust me, there's been times going through this that I was not fond of humans. As a matter of fact, when I first woke up in 2016, I just said, God, you know what? Kill them all. Let you sort them out. Okay, after I saw what they were doing and allowing to happen to our planet and the raping of children and the torture of our animals, oh no, I couldn't handle it. And I got a good talking to from my spirit guides. And I had to forgive them. But I'll tell you what, just recently over the last few months, I have kind of thought, kill them all. That's what they get. Now, I have to keep my energy up. I have to be compassionate and kind in this. And know that they are damaged. They've got demons in their body. Everybody does. Now, I will do, I'm going to be done for today. I was going to do 3 videos today, but I'm not. I'm pretty tired. Tomorrow, if I'm up to it, I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to do one on spirit work. I'm going to teach you how to keep your spirit in your body and how to evict bad spirits from your body. And then I'm going to do one more on, I don't know. I thought about it earlier, but I'm pretty tired. It's a lot of work to take care of these animals and myself. You know, before I had the animals, it was like I had left with a backpack on my back, I don't know how many times, left everything behind, having to redo everything. I live on a disability check, having to buy all these minerals and go through all, practicing all of these things and taking care of the animals now. I wouldn't change it. Yeah, I might increase my income just a little bit, and that will happen. I'm not worried about that. My needs have been met. Let me talk to you about love. Okay. Love is the highest vibration, vibrational energy on this planet. In fact, love is what created this planet. Now, the energy of love. When we vibrate the energy of love, we are closer to our spirits, and every other thing on this planet that is organic and good. The closest emotion to love is gratitude, energy. When times get tough, and they're going to get real tough for you guys. They're real tough right now for me, and they're going to be real tough for you. We are going to be pushed to a point where we will be broken, to where we will surrender. Once demons get into the body, they're not going to give up that body without a fight. And they're going to do everything in their power to kill you while they're in your body. And why is that? Because if you die without your spirit in your body, they get to, the physical body dies and the spirit stays here in this dimension. And that's where we get ghosts. Yeah. Okay. So we've got to learn to keep our spirit, get our spirits in our bodies, teach our children. Everybody's infected. Okay. You can get rid of them. And I'm going to teach you how. That's another video I'm going to do. Okay. I love you guys. And each day is a new day. Forgive your neighbors. Forgive your family. Forgive people who aren't waking up. Forgive them. Even if you have to fake it till you make it, which I've had to do. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. They don't. And a lot of them just really don't give a shit anyway. And they're not going to give a shit until they suffer. It's through pain we grow. So just know that that pain's coming for every single one of us. All right. Thank you for listening, and I hope that I helped you. And if you need there's more to this. This is solution 1. It's just the boss water for the animals. I will be making more solutions, and I actually have had them done and I've used them, but it's too complex right now for you guys to worry about. Just get your animals on borax solution, BOSS. Replace their minerals, give them the boron, and for yourself. Okay? Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.